Hello everyone. This topic has been making the rounds lately, so I thought I'd tell you about it and put in my 2 cents. The W Korea's annual Love Your W Breast Cancer Awareness Gala, held on October 15th, has sparked widespread controversy. Although promoted as a charity fundraiser for breast cancer awareness, videos and social media posts from the event quickly drew criticism. What appeared on camera resembled a social gathering rather than a philanthropic campaign. Attendees were seen mingling, drinking, and dancing, leading many viewers to describe the atmosphere as that of a party rather than a benefit gala. There was also an absence of pink ribbons, the universal symbol of breast cancer awareness, and many pointed out that interviews largely focused on the guests' fashion and careers rather than the cause itself. And this disconnect fueled growing skepticism online, with many questioning whether the night truly prioritized awareness or charity. Then people started digging into the numbers, and that's where things really started to bubble over. Over 20 years, the Love Your W campaign has reportedly raised around 315 million won, which is about 222,000 US dollars, which means on average they've been raising about $29,000 a year. For an event packed with multimillionaire idols, actors, and luxury sponsors, that doesn't exactly scream charity first. So now people are asking if this gala is really about awareness or if it's just about appearance. By October 19th, W Korea issued a public apology acknowledging that the gala's format and execution were inappropriate. But a lot of people think that it's a little too late and the harm done cannot be solved with a simple statement. A lot of the backlash also talked about the live performance by, you guessed it, Jay Park, who performed his hit Mame. Before I go any further, I do want to clarify something that I think a lot of people are getting wrong. What most people saw online, the videos and photos that went viral, weren't actually from the breast cancer awareness event. They were from the after party that W Korea held after the charity event was over. Jay Park did put out an apology, and Korean netizens seem to be taking it quite well, but you are allowed to make your own judgment. aespa's Karina also became a focal point of debate following the release of a TikTok clip filmed at the event where she did the sugar on my tongue trend. People called it tone-deaf and inappropriate, and some commenters accused the organizers of turning the event into a spectacle, writing that the imagery of showing off breasts during the breast cancer fundraiser was a slap in the face to every patient. Now, I do want to add my 2 cents, which is, yeah, doing a TikTok challenge that is unrelated to the cause is annoying and does nothing for the event or the breast cancer awareness. However, this again was organized by W Korea. Karina didn't just jump in there with a ring light to make a TikTok for her own enjoyment. But for the people who were saying stuff about her showing her body, did you want her to leave her boobs at home? Or that part just seems pointed and misogynistic and also irrelevant. The criticism about that TikTok trend at that particular event is warranted. But let's not talk about her body. Her having breasts is not a crime. If it was, I'd be serving life. Some idols did speak about breast cancer awareness, like some members of Eyelid and IVE. However, most attendees were not seen addressing the topic at all. A lot of you do need to understand that if you think these people just should not have attended an event like this, refusing to attend something that from the outside seems like a genuinely good-intentioned event could have invited a different kind of backlash, one where these idols would be accused of ignoring such a crucial cause. And we'll get into this later, but the idols had little to no control over the event's tone or presentation. So all of that were the facts of what happened and the backlash, but now let's move on to specific hate. Like I previously mentioned, Jay Park was criticized for his performances. This is Jay Park's official statement. After the official breast cancer awareness campaign event ended, there was an after-party and performance. I understood it as a gathering of people who came together with good intentions and in good spirits, so I performed as I normally would. To any cancer patients who may have felt uncomfortable or upset watching my performance, I sincerely apologize. I hope you all stay healthy. He also mentioned that he performed without pay despite having an injury because he wanted to contribute to the cause and asked people not to twist his intentions. So, to me, the lack of money raised doesn't seem to be the fault of the idols attending. While I agree that they should have spoken up more about breast cancer, I believe their mindset was that attending the event and getting their fans to tune in would be all they needed to do, which is, I admit, hasty and haphazard, but not malicious. W Korea should definitely be the ones held responsible for why this event hasn't raised the amount that it realistically should have raised over 20 years. Then, the most unpredictable hate train also took place, and this is so unheard of in K-pop because this never happens. Can you guess who was hated on the most? 3, 2, 1, BTS. Duh. Is the crowd surprised? No, the crowd is saying, what's new? So let's talk about all the topics of hate against BTS because yes, there are multiple. I'll start off with the dumb ones that can be easily debunked and move on to the more complex and nuanced ones. Number 1. V is a pedophile for dancing with, you guessed it, a 30-year-old. V was seen hugging and dancing with his friend and famous choreographer Para Lee. But people took clips of him from an angle where you couldn't see her face and began spreading rumors that that wasn't Para Lee, but some intern who was a minor and he forced her to dance. The truth takes you a simple second because you can just watch this clip and see that it is indeed Para Lee, who is older than Taeyong, a choreographer he has worked with and is friends with, and not in fact this fictional 16-year-old intern who for some reason is working for W Korea. I'm sincerely not saying this as an insult, but creating fake scenarios just to hate on someone and reducing serious issues like predatory behavior and pedophilia to Twitter fan wars and lies has to be some sort of undiagnosed mental illness. Y'all stay safe out there. Number 2. V is weird for being friends with women and having women be comfortable around him. In a similar vein to the last one, V was hated on for having female friends. As a grown man, apparently the fact that multiple women feel comfortable around him is actually a red flag. I swear, K-poppies will see a man scared and running from women at the age of 35 and convince you that that's normal and the sign of a good man. You need to step outside and understand how real people and real relationships work. Again, an unnecessary issue. On a very serious note, I've noticed this new trend of calling BTS pedophiles, predators, and Diddy for absolutely nothing, and it's deeply disrespectful and disgusting. Just to remind you, Jungkook was called a predator for having a dark house. RM was called a predator for saying that it was so good to finally see and touch each other after the pandemic to armies. V was called a predator for hugging his 30-year-old friend. J-Hope was called a predator for supporting a 19-year-old TikTok dancer who danced to his song. RM was again called a predator for talking to Karina, a 25-year-old, at a public event. If he hadn't, he would be called stuck-up and arrogant. V was again called a pedophile for taking a photo with a literal baby while he himself was a child. None of these instances are in any way weird, odd, or indicative of predatory behavior, and the fact that you so easily throw these words around show how little you care about victims of these actual crimes. Number 3. BTS members attending this controversial event. This is a valid criticism. Obviously, attending and therefore supporting W Korea for this event is not a great thing because of how loosely it is considered a charity. And this goes for all idols, but obviously BTS get targeted the most. So here is what I have to say about the celebrities that attended this event. K-pop idols don't get a financial report before attending events like this. W Korea organizes the event, selects guests, and handles the charity partnership. They are the ones completely in control and responsible for money that could come from corporate sponsors, ticketed donors, auction items, and even direct donations. The celebrity's role is mostly promotional, to show up, smile for the cameras, and draw attention. They would have minimal information about the inside workings of the charity and event. And W Korea did not disclose donation totals publicly until criticism exploded online. Celebrities were invited as guests or ambassadors. They don't design the program or pick the dress code or the lighting, the performance, or tone. This year's gala was planned by W Korea's editorial team, not the idols, not their agencies. The club-like setup, song choice, and the lack of cancer awareness messaging were editorial decisions, and not on the idols. It does seem a little odd to me how a lot of you are focusing your hate on the idols in attendance rather than W Korea themselves. But there were definitely a few aspects where the idols were definitely wrong. Number 1, not acknowledging the cause. Most idols did not wear pink ribbons, mention breast cancer, or do interviews related to the cause. Their presence brought massive attention, but none used their platform to mention why they were there, which is a huge lost opportunity. Number 2, going along with tone-deaf activities. The focus on doing TikTok dances, drinking, and networking was inappropriate, and it felt like they didn't focus enough on what the real issue was. In short, W Korea dropped the ball, not the idols, but it's fair to say that some of them could have read the room a little better. But now let's bring it to you, because yeah, you're not blameless either. What a lot of you are doing now looks extremely stupid. My favorite member didn't drink and dance, therefore they are better. Mine didn't attend this year, so they are amazing. Mine took a picture with this shirt, so they're exempt. If you're one of those people, you are just as at fault as those idols, if not more, because you don't care about the issue either. Now, I want to give these people the benefit of the doubt and assume they're children because you just cannot make this shit up. Aespa is saying this. How could you possibly know what they drank? Were you there? Did you take a sip? How do you know they left early? Also, leaving early doesn't even make sense. In this case, this was the literal after party. And XOL saying this, at least he has sense, and we know this because of a 28-second clip of him standing still. Great, so now he's exempt from not speaking about breast cancer awareness. My bad, I didn't know that all someone had to do was stand still for half a minute. And blinks. Jenny arrived late, not out of arrogance. Doesn't make sense because how would you know why she arrived late? Also, she couldn't have been 3 hours late, she was walking the literal press carpet. She wore a skin tone dress symbolizing self-love and acceptance. Again, who told you that? And since when has a nude bodycon dress ever symbolized that? Are the 6-inch heels also about self-love? Like, the made-up stories are insane. She didn't endorse a brand. Most idols didn't, and the reason why they might have is because the campaign was co-hosted with fashion and beauty sponsors. These brands help fund the event, their logos, products, and designs are part of the campaign's presentation. She wasn't interested in the party. How do you know that? Are you all clairvoyant? And she had pink flowers on her table. Did she bring the pink flowers? Of course not, that was just the decor there. I find it so funny that having pink flowers on her table is what sets her apart from all the evil idols who went this year. The real reason why some idols didn't attend is because they either had scheduling issues, just didn't want to, or weren't specifically invited because they haven't closely worked with W Korea. Plain and simple. The hoops y'all immediately start jumping through and the false stories you create are so dishearteningly annoying and cringe. The focus is still coming back to fan wars and celebrities. How is that helpful? And let's not act like if this event had gone well, you wouldn't be on Twitter hating on idols who didn't attend. Because I know for sure there would have been tweets saying, wow, when it comes to getting famous, female fans matter, but now that it's about a women's health issue, you are nowhere to be seen. It's a no-win situation. If idols attend, they're called performative or tone deaf. If they skip, they're called careless or anti-women. People twisted either way because the goal was never actually about awareness. It's about outrage. But a good thing that came out of this controversy was armies. They took a constructive approach and instead of feeding into the negativity, they turned outrage into action. Hashtags like Armies for BCA began trending, where people shared verified donation links, breast cancer educational resources, and information on early detection. But K-pop is nothing if not a roller coaster, so we just went up now, so we need to come back down. People started saying that armies only did this to combat the hate the BTS members were getting. If armies donating led to BTS getting zero hate, BTS would never get hated on again. But this shows that for haters, there really is no winning. And that is especially true when it comes to BTS. They are damned if they do and damned if they don't, and this next point proves it. Instead of the focus being on W Korea and the event, K-poppies eventually found a way to bring it all back to BTS by saying that BTS have changed. The old BTS would hate this new BTS because apparently they don't donate enough? This might be the stupidest reason that BTS have gotten hate because they are the last people to be criticizing for donations considering how much they are known to have donated throughout the years. But here we go, BTS's style of donating is now being criticized. If a celebrity donates quietly, which BTS often do, people will argue, why aren't they using their influence? But when BTS does make a public donation, they accuse it of being a PR stunt for attention. BTS as a group and these 7 members individually have donated large amounts of money and resources multiple times a year, and that's only publicly verified donations. So many of their donations are revealed to us years later because they do so privately. Their giving spans children's health, education, social justice, disaster relief, art, heritage, and mental health. Some notable recent ones include Suga's 2025 Autism Center donation alone, which was 5 billion won and is one of the largest personal donations ever made by a Korean entertainer, and it's not just about money but also about the impact and time he put into it. Their Love Yourself campaign with UNICEF raised about 8.9 billion won, making BTS among the most philanthropically active artists, not just in K-pop but globally. You can literally Google their impact as they have a whole section of Wikipedia dedicated just to that. BTS have been known to donate things other than money as well. Jin regularly donates a large amount of food and supplies to Korea Animal Welfare Association. Both J-Hope and Suga also donated food and supplies to animal welfares in their respective hometowns. The members have all also donated school supplies and winter gear to schools in lower income areas. But people still choose to hate on them by pointing out that they own expensive houses and clothes. Here's the thing. All BTS members come from modest middle-class upbringings, and much of their pre-debut and early debut days were filled with financial strain. Unlike many idols, none of the members came from wealth or connected backgrounds. Then they worked their asses off for years, through hate trains, through wrongful accusations, through disbandment, close calls, through nearing bankruptcy, and still became successful because of their hard work. They spent years in garages recording their songs, living in a one-bedroom, one-bathroom tiny shoebox of an apartment together, with barely any amenities, to the point where some of them did part-time jobs as delivery workers to make ends meet. So, no, they absolutely do not need to apologize for indulging. They absolutely should be allowed to buy themselves nice things. Wanting comfort after years of grinding yourself to the bone does not mean you're spoiled. It means they earned it. With BTS, they didn't inherit massive fortunes and lounge around. They built their careers. So when people point at their houses or cars and say they're out of touch rich, you are insane. Because I know for a fact that if you won the lottery, none of you would go and give your entire earnings to charity. I know a lot of you are beginning to adopt the eat the rich mindset, but people who worked hard to make money and still use it to help their community are not the rich you should be eating. The ones you should be targeting are those sitting with billions of dollars that use it to make themselves richer and make everyone else's lives worse. What's more, BTS don't even flex like many celebrities do. They don't post pictures of their new cars. They're pretty low-key compared to the look at my lifestyle crowd. They don't have songs talking about how much money they have. They are mindful of the social and economic conditions of the general public and are doing what they can. And most of all, they do donate. Yes, if someone is using their wealth solely to flaunt, never giving back and never taking responsibility, then out of touch might be fair. But in BTS's case, we have documented evidence of years of consistent giving back. A separate debate has emerged where loser performative quote armies who have now been on their last straw with BTS for about 5 years now started converting their donations from won to US dollars. First of all, how unbearably shallow and privileged are you to sit there and look at other people's donations and then comment about whether you think they are enough or not? What have you done for the world except for annoy the fuck out of me? When BTS members' 100 million won donations are converted to roughly $70,000, haters dismiss them as small. But let's look at some important aspects they overlook. Firstly, I'll just come out and say it. Maybe I'm too poor for some of you, but $85,000 is a hell of a lot of money. I don't know if y'all are just really rich or what, but acting like donating $80K is a simple feat is extremely eye-roll-worthy privileged. Most households in America make about a median of 83,000 US dollars in a year. BTS's individual donations are more than what most households make in a year. Now, I would say that is a pretty fucking substantial amount. Also, these 100 million won donations or 80K donations are not isolated gestures. Multiple members have repeatedly donated that amount to several different causes several times a year, ranging from medical services, education, wildfire relief, funding the arts, etc. So it's not actually 80K. It's 80 here, 80 there, another 100 here, another 50 there, and that all adds up. Also, 100 million won carries significant local value in South Korea. It is enough to fund scholarships, build facilities, or sustain community programs. Since living costs and incomes are lower in South Korea than in the US, the same amount of money can have a much bigger impact there than it would in the US. Also, the world does not revolve around you, America. This Western-centric mindset of treating USD as the moral benchmark for generosity is extremely xenophobic. Philanthropy should be assessed within its own cultural and economic context. What is their donation in wons doing where those wons are being used? In contrast, for their global donations, like for the BLM, they donated 1 million US dollars. The reach of these donations far exceed what a simple currency calculation can convey. And, quote, armies who say all of this to be performative on TikTok need to remember this the next time they dump thousands of dollars buying secondhand tickets to be front row at BTS's concerts. Practice what you preach, babe, and donate that money. Bottom line is, if you want to call out any of these idols, including BTS, for not speaking up about breast cancer at the event, go ahead. That is fair criticism. But if you're putting more blame on the guests who attended what they thought was a legitimate charity event than on the people who actually organized it, then let's be honest, you're not here for the cause, you're here for the fan wars. What you can't do is spread vile rumors and disgusting accusations about BTS and then pretend it's about breast cancer awareness. If you're hating on them just because they're successful, that's not activism, that's jealousy. And bringing up silver spoons? Save that for the Nepo babies and idols who actually grew up rich. And if you want to hate on BTS, donations are probably the last topic that you should be bringing up, considering that is something they are literally known for doing, consistently for years as a group and individually. And that is all for this video, but I did want to quickly mention something that bothered me. A lot of people in the comments tried to come at me for not talking about this event, saying I was trying to shield BTS. I hope you know how hard it is to make videos on topics like this. I can't just put words together and spew it out. It takes days of research to make sure I don't put out misinformation. I have to go through several sources, articles, and often wait for confirmation on details before I can add them in. Then I have to script it all out. For reference, this video script was about 17 pages long. So yeah, it's gonna take a while. I then have to record a voiceover and then find usable videos, which I then have to edit. So yeah, I'm not shielding idols. I can't imagine how not making a video could shield BTS. They have literally been hated on for eating an apple. True story. It just takes time to make a video. I know a lot of you do understand that, but I did see some comments like that, so thought I'd say it anyway. But yeah, I hope this video informed you about the event and why it became a controversy, but also gave you insight into how any and everything that happens on God's green earth becomes a reason to hate on BTS. Like and subscribe, and I will see you in my next one.